So all kinds of games going in the afternoon before the 7-game night slate, but which games should we be betting on to make a little coin here on a Wednesday? That's what you're going to find out here on First Pitch. Dan Alexander in the pilot's chair with you. Joining me, I got the Morning Wager duo. What a treat here for a Wednesday. I say somewhat tongue-in-cheek with my man Bryan Power and Mark Zinno. Always love it when these guys are on. Go ahead. No tongues in cheeks is what you're saying.
I hear you.
Yeah, oh, you can hear me. You can
insult me when I'm not in the room.
I'm a man. You got to be direct. You know what I'm saying? So it was a backhanded compliment because both of these guys, they're ready to go. They're ready to get some baseball winners for you. We're going to talk Nats-Padres, Twins, D-backs, Cubs, Giants, and the White Sox and the Dodgers. We have a wager for you in that one that might not be what you expect. I'm looking forward to hearing Mark Zinno breaking that one down. And of course, if you're joining us live, you can hop below in the comments. Some folks already lining up. Like G. Hurt wants to know who in the effing heck is betting the under in the Boston Jays game today. We'll see if one of these guys is going to be doing that. But first, BP, let me start with you. This game going at 4:10, so let's get to it right here at the top. It's the Nats and the Padres, and great managerial decision last night. Just terrific. Let's intentionally walk. This will work out really well for us, and then 2-run single, 7-6 win, bottom of the 10th. Nice. Great job there. So any lingering hangover from just that brutal job? Anyone looking at the manager sideways in the old clubhouse there, or is the best recipe or medicine going to be getting right back out there for the Padres? Any thoughts on the side, or is this just a sheer total play for you?
Well, it's going to be the total. I'll get to that in a second. But, it's interesting. San Diego, Dan, last year, those are the kind of games that they could not win. I mean, they had the worst record in one-run games last year. The worst record. Remember, did they even win a single extra innings game last year? I feel that they didn't. Like, they finished 0-9 or something. So that's the kind of luck that can turn a team's fortune year to year. But if you go to my page right now, I have this as a free play. I actually got it at 8. But if you listen to the Morning Wager with Mark and I said I liked it at 7.5 and still do now, quite frankly. Third game of the series between these teams, 7-6 final on Monday. That was a little misleading, Dan, because the game went to extra innings. It was 3-3 after 9 yesterday. Some animosity between the two teams, a little dust up. You got the grand slam from Profar, which obviously is not something you're going to see happen every game. Now, for the third straight day, I've been surprised at how many runs have been scored in this series so far, needless to say. Because this is the third straight day the Padres are drawing a lefty. It's DJ Hurst. He's making just his 5th start for the Nationals. Last time out, he allowed 3 home runs. Not good. But that was at Coors Field. So I'm going to look past him allowing 3 home runs, especially considering the start before that one. He had 13 strikeouts and 6 shutout innings. And San Diego, this is why I've been so surprised at the amount of runs we've seen in this series, particularly on their side. They're usually pretty bad against lefties, Dan. They've been better lately, obviously, in this series, and they got to Mackenzie Gore yesterday early, but for the season, it's still their worst split. And remember, no Tatis in the lineup right now. This lineup is not at full strength. Petco Park, as we all know, is typically a pitcher-friendly environment. The Padres only average 4.3 runs per game for the season here. The Nationals, as a team, they average just 4.1 runs per game overall. They're not a great lineup. And isn't Dylan Cease due for a good start, guys? He's given up 11 runs in his last 2 starts. A little shocking there. 10 strikeouts, though, last time out. That's an encouraging number. I just look at all the factors here, Dan. And again, it's surprising to me how high scoring these first 2 games have been. It's getaway day for the Nats. They're heading to Tampa this weekend. That's a long trip. Maybe the hitters going to be a little eager, not too eager, I should say, to work deep into the count. They've got the green light on that first pitch. Who knows? But it's the first ever start for Cease against the Nats. First ever time Padres are seeing hers. Unfamiliarity typically favors the pitchers. I think we're getting it under. Give me under 7.5.
Under the 7.5, maybe no extra innings in that one. We'll have to see how that shakes out. Hop below in the comments. Let us know what you are looking to bet in that one, or even if you want us to hit on some of the early day slate. I mean, we got some games that'll be going here quite early, so you definitely want to try and hit those if we can for you. But shout out to the chat: G. Hurt, Jason, Baumgartner, Tyler, Phil the Kill. letting us know about how the huge move to the Nats in the pregame yesterday was no different. Yes, meant nothing in the end indeed. Phil, we appreciate you. Wisconsin guy over there wants us to maybe hit on a little Astros and Rockies. Stand by. We'll be getting that one for you if we can. But game going here just pretty shortly. So maybe one that we'll touch upon for maybe a live bet for you. But Mark Zinno's locked and loaded. He's ready to chat some Cubs and the San Francisco Giants. It's Birdsong. It's Wisniewski on the mound in this one. And you're getting the take back here on the Cubs at around plus 110. How are we looking to bet this one, Zinno? We splitting this game in half, or you got something full game for us?
No, we're going to go full game here. We're actually going to take the Cubs here. Around even money, a little bit of plus money. The Giants have won the first 2 games of this series and not scored a ton of runs. I mean, they scored 5 runs in each of the game. The Cubs aren't scoring much either. But here's the situation, and this is purely from a pitching standpoint that I'm breaking this game down here. The Cubs look like they're going to go with a bullpen game. Hayden Wisniewski has made 3 starts on the year, but he's been more of a reliever as of late, and the Cubs are going to go with a bullpen game. Why? Because Kyle Hendricks surprisingly did them a favor last night and went 7 strong, and they only needed to use 1 reliever in the game. And that is a huge advantage to them because the Cubs have only used 4 relievers over the course, or three different relievers, I should say, over the course of the past 2 days. Now, the Giants are the team that does a whole lot of bullpen games. Today, they're going to start this young kid, Hayden Birdsong, who's going to make his first start ever in the majors. He's got no stat line.
Yep.
But after the bullpen game last night, you're looking at a Giants bullpen that used 6 different relievers yesterday and has used 9 different relievers over the last 2 days. So this is a team right now that's got a taxed bullpen in the middle of this series here, just trying to turn their rotation over to get to a regular starter. Don't know much about Birdsong. As BP says, yeah, sure, a little bit of an advantage to Hayden Birdsong as the Cubs have never seen him, but it's a 22-year-old right-hander who's never pitched in the bigs yet. How long can he really last is the real question for me. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. Unless he just has a spectacular outing that no one sees coming, I'd be shocked if he gets past 3 or 4 innings here, just given the nature of young pitchers and what they do. So the Cubs bats theoretically have to break out at some point in time. Both of these bullpens aren't great, but again, San Francisco has been used heavily over the first 2 games of this series. And I'm going to play on that here for the Chicago Cubs to get a win here. I expect the game to be tight. Neither one of these offenses really are all that dynamic. So let's roll the dice here with Chicago, try to steal a win and a little bit of plus money against the Giants in San Francisco. Try to avoid going in that 0-3 series hole.
Yeah, and this one was sitting around that plus 110, plus 108, and we have seen some Cubs money start driving that down lower. We're looking at even closer to even money in some spots. So if you agree with our man, Mark Zinno, you want to go over there and grab that Cubs bet sooner rather than later. BP, any thoughts? We had our man Tyler in the chat saying this new guy, Birdsong, we want to look at his Ks or anything like that. See, for me, it's so hard to extrapolate what's happening in the lower levels to how a guy looks in the first coming out. And I get that the Cubs bats, it's not like it's been crazy great. And Zinno just kind of touched upon that there. But at 4.5, I don't know if I'd be rushing to do any Ks because I don't know how deep he's going to go. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's a big strikeout guy. For what it's worth, the Wisniewski guy is just sitting at 2.5. So I don't think over Ks is going to be the play for me, either of these on these guys for me. What do you think?
No, and that's not a market I attack. This was a game I left alone completely. The Cubs are a team that I keep waiting, Dan. When is their rock bottom? And I don't know if we've hit it. I mean, they've been the worst team in the National League since May 2nd, but I agree. The Giants aren't a team I believe in either. They're a bit of an overachiever. So I would co-sign what Mark said, and just if you're going to play this game, take a look there with the Cubs. But, yeah, I don't know. I struggle, too. I think I talked about it with Joe on a show or something. We were talking about a guy who got called up. These guys who you don't know a lot about, certainly I don't like betting on uncertainty in general, certainly not with the prop market. So that's something I would just stay away from. I apologize for my lack of conviction in that particular market. But I would co-sign with Mark that the Cubs should be the right side today.
Well, speaking of co-signing with Mark, apparently we got a DM to the Wager Talk live the Twitter, so you can go check that out over at Wager Talk on X, I guess we should call it. So people were saying what a big not only did someone slide in the DM, Mark, they actually left us a video message for you. So I think, Joe, do we have that queued up that we can show Mark? Apparently, Patty Johnson, a big fan, and here you go.
Oh my God! I just wanted to send a shout out to my favorite handicapper at WagerTalk, Mark Zinno. I've got your big ticket waiting for later, so call me. Let's make a sloppy parlay together.
She's looking to make a sloppy parlay with you, Zinno. So we got fans sending in the video. GM's there, so she's looking for a sloppy parlay, Mark. Do you have any sloppy parlays for Patty Johnson? Big fan of Mark Zinno here, and she also has her big ticket waiting for you. I don't know what that quite means, but Zinno, you're a big fan. You have any response for Patty?
Patty, you'll always be my 5% play, baby. Let's go.
maybe one or two big ticket cashes with Patty, and your name will be right up there on the leaderboard, Mark. We can push Bryan out of there, get you some cashes there. But big thanks for the video message. We appreciate you, Patty. Thanks for tuning in. I too love Mark Zinno as well, but apparently not as much as our big time super fan Patty Johnson does. So appreciate her. I know that she's. Go ahead, BJ.
She looks a little bit more like a double Patty, to be honest with you. I mean, that was a
come on, man.
Come on. She's a fan, Mark. She's a fan. What were you going to say, BP?
I was going to say, Zinno, famous last words. The years have not been kind, buddy. There you go. I think. Oh, Zinno knows.
That's rough.
Mark said that one time. No, never mind. I almost knocked over. I'll tell you the backstory if we have time. But yeah, I mean, listen, just short version. There's an old friend who I had met up with. We were in Vegas last year for the Wager Talk event. She came out to see me and say hello, and as she kept walking and getting closer, it didn't get any better. And I looked at BP steadfast. I said, years have not been kind, because he had the same look that I did in his eyes, like this isn't getting better as it gets closer.
This is what happens, Joe, when we let the morning wager guys get up in the morning, drop winners on their show, and then come back here in the afternoon after BP stops over at his bar for a couple. But Wisconsin guy has a good idea. I think the next subject line on your big ticket play, Mark, should be the Patty Johnson nuke of the evening. He says, we'll refer to Mark's 5% plays as the Patty Johnson.
Before the end of this month for you guys.
And should we change the double play on the morning wager to the sloppy parlay?
The Patty Johnson? The sloppy parlay. I think there we go. Not a bad idea.
There we go.
Got one for you right there. Phil the Kill saying Zinno, he might be a little jealous. Says Zinno, get on that. LOL. So Phil the Kill getting a little bit jealous over there. So
never pass up a free winner. Never pass up a free winner.
So gentlemen, let's get back to some baseball before I get a sternly worded message from our CEO Rick saying what is going on today on First Pitch. We're just showing the fans some loves. It's what we do here. We appreciate the fans who are chiming in here on a daily basis in the chat, and of course those sending in the video messages. We do greatly appreciate that. But speaking of some of these messages, G Hurt was checking in. He wanted some thoughts here on the Boston and the Blue Jays game. It's Uriel Rodriguez going against Cutter Crawford. Earlier today, our man Tokyo Brandon, who Mark Zinno gets all his fashion advice from, was looking towards Cutter Crawford over in the strikeout market. Just Carey was asking how much are we going to be seeing some players going in this one. But Cutter Crawford, Rodriguez, the price on this one, Zinno, I'll go back to you because I know Patty's awaiting your thoughts on pretty much anything. Any thoughts in this one? He's saying, who the hell is betting the under in this? Would you look that way, or if it ain't broke, don't fix it?
I mean, I wanted to try to find a way to play against Toronto, play on the Red Sox here, considering Toronto actually won a game yesterday, and I have a lot of doubts that they could win 2 in a row here. The problem with Cutter Crawford's K prop here tonight is that Toronto is the 3rd lowest K rate on the road this year. So they don't strike out all that much, which kind of scares me. And furthermore, when I came down to this game, you're looking at Cutter Crawford. This is a guy who has not been the beneficiary of a lot of run support this year. It's almost been embarrassing for him to see how bad his team is. They're 4-11 with him on the mound, and he only gets 3.3 runs of support each start. That's not a lot. And this is a Red Sox team that can actually hit. For whatever reason, though, Cutter Crawford's not being the beneficiary of that. So I stayed off this game. I would lean Red Sox here. But again, Cutter Crawford doesn't give up a lot of runs, but they also don't score a lot of runs. And this is Toronto. Like, their offense stinks right now. I mean, I don't know why this total would be that high. It almost seems like a under that I would be interested in, but I just have no interest in betting either one of these teams. Too much variance for me.
Yeah, it's completely fair, and it really has been. And I think, the explosion of runs, it kind of shows that yesterday. Any thoughts for you, BP, in this one? You can help out our man G Hurt. Who the effing heck is betting the under? Would you be one of those people betting the under?
Normally, I am someone who does something like that. As a matter now, in regards to Cutter Crawford, the only time the Red Sox won with him on the mound was as an underdog on Sunday night 2 weeks ago against the Yankees. I happened to be on Cutter Crawford and the Red Sox in that. Mark makes a really good point when it comes to the total. The Red Sox do not score as many runs in Fenway as they do on the road. And Toronto's offense, yeah, he said it great. They stink. So Crawford's team start record is really misleading. He's pitched much better than his record. He's got a sub-1 whip his last 3 starts. I don't trust Rodriguez. I don't trust Toronto. I bring up run differential all the time on this show, Dan. For much of this season, these teams were pretty close in the AL East standings. Now, the head-to-head results, save for yesterday, has widened the gap a little bit. But Boston's run differential is just miles superior to Toronto. They're a much better team playing at home with the guy in Crawford that I think is due for a W here. So I would lean towards the home side, leave the total alone.
Great breakdown there, my man, Bryan Power. And BP, I know you're also doing the Euros. You would never think it here on the baseball show, but as I was breaking that down, I was just realizing that Just Carey over on the YouTube Shorts feed wasn't asking about Reynaldo Lopez for the D-backs, or Hernandez, excuse me. No, she was asking about Ronaldo on the pitch for Portugal. She said, is Ronaldo playing the whole game? Overs, unders? So I think she got lost on her way here finding the baseball show. But since I have a Euro guy here, any thoughts on, is Ronaldo going deep in Portugal versus Georgia today? What are we thinking?
Yeah, well, I haven't had a lot of success with the anytime goal scorer market necessarily. I've only dabbled just a little bit, but I like Portugal's team total over. Now, the thing you have to understand is, okay, and we just saw this in the last window there that closed, is that with the 2 matches taking place at the same time, they've always got one eye going on the other one because that it matters what it is. Portugal does, they should score on Georgia as a team. I would look Portugal team total rather than nail it down to one specific player. I think Portugal's team total over is live. Georgia is very bad. I'm not talking about Mark's home state. I am talking about the country, by the way.
I was about to say, it is a little bit ridiculous, this whole Euro thing, how the state of Georgia has to play against entire nations. It's kind of ridiculous. Oh, all right.
That's the country.
Yeah,
I have a very old globe behind me.
I'm good.
Old Soviet.
I don't need your Magellan
globe.
Globe.
Soviet Union. Okay, I can divide it up. Yes, it was once as the USSR.
But this alone just shows you we love the live comments that we get. And just to let you know, you people who are viewing live, hey, we'll hit upon any of the questions that you throw at us, and you're going to be able to join us live earlier in the day based off of the poll that we ran yesterday. The feedback that we've been getting, people would love getting first pitch a little earlier in the day. So the switch is coming. We're going to be coming to you live at 11 a.m. Eastern time. That would be 8 a.m. here on the West Coast. So keep your eyes peeled and make sure you are subscribed and you hit that little bell. So when we start going live here in the AM, getting you day game baseball, we could have broken down all these 110 starts, 210 games as well, and give some chance for you to hop into the comments. So we are going to be coming your way earlier in the day. We're excited about it. When it's going to happen, stay tuned, because we'll be dropping a big announcement on the shift of first pitch moving into that 11 a.m. slot. So you definitely want to be subscribed so you don't miss that one there. We do got best bets coming up here from the guys. We're going to be talking Twins and D-backs, Cubs, Giants. We already hit that one earlier, but we'll be talking the White Sox going up against the Dodgers a little bit later today. A game that we definitely have to be keeping our eyes on, and I'm chuckling there because Tyler goes, Dan's going to be late daily now. Kind of a shot, Tyler. I don't appreciate that, but I do appreciate you, of course. I do look excited. I want to get it earlier in the day for you, are you, Zen? So I'll get jacked up a little bit more if you need it. I'm ready to rock at 11 a.m. So let's ride, let's roll. We'll be getting you that actionable info earlier in the day. But the game that I wanted to hit on here, guys, maybe it didn't quite go the way that some prognosticated that it would last night. The late effort wasn't enough for the New York Yankees in the Subway Series. The New York Grimaces got it done again. 9-7 was the final in that one. And while the Yankees are really the juggernaut that's just been rolling on through, on pace to get to the triple digits sooner rather than later in the win column, the Mets have been quietly chugging along, largely in thanks to that purple gentleman throwing out the first pitch. But yesterday, it was just kind of a flex. The Mets, sure, it got a little bit sweaty late, but you never really, after that early lead happened, felt like your Mets ticket was really in worry, even with those 5 runs coming across.
Will he do against a legitimate lineup? Well, the Mets at home this year, statistically over the course of the season, the numbers don't look great. They're a bottom 5 team in runs scored and runs per game. However, the Mets in the last month, overall, number 1 in batting average at 287. Number 1 in OPS, number 1 in RC plus, the WRC plus the entire month of June. They have been absolutely tearing the cover off the ball as of late, despite the fact that Citi Field is a cavernous hole where nobody ever scores, particularly the Mets. So you're going to find out what Heel is really made of. Look, I'll say this much. This is probably a game I'd cut in half, because if Heel isn't good early and doesn't keep the Mets offense in check, guess what? The Mets bullpen will take care of the rest. I know they gave up a grand slam last night. It made it a lot closer than the game actually looked. The Yankees were never really in that game. Judge pops out and said, that stays 5 feet shorter. It's a fly out and the inning's over, and it's a 9-2 game, not a 9-7 game when it's all said and done, 9-3 game, whatever it was. So the point simply is that, I would look at the Yankees. I would cut the game in half, because if they can't get to Manea and Heel isn't good, it's going to be a huge advantage Mets if the bats continue to hit at the rate that they are.
That's definitely a way to kind of look to break this down is chop it in half, because it really will tell you how to bet this game, maybe how to bet this game live as well. Maybe you sprinkle a little bit on that first 5 if you do think that's how it's going to work out, and then maybe look to adjust live. This one does go at 7:10, so you have some time to kind of plan how you look to attack it. But anything stand out to you in this one, BP, on how you're looking to bet this one, or do you see it similarly to our man Mark Zinno?
I might look at an under here. Heel should bounce back. I mean, he's not facing Baltimore. And yes, Mark said obviously it's very dependent who he's faced. The Mets have been a lot better recently, but still, for the season, I mean, the Mets, the home road splits are crazy, like you mentioned. They still sub 4 runs per game at home. So I would look at the under here for the total. I would agree and co-sign with Mark's breakdown of the side. So I'll just give you a little extra on the total. I would look under 8.5. We're going to see the amount of runs we scored yesterday, not even close.
Richard Lockhart, he's got Mets money line over on the YouTube Shorts feed, and he potentially wants to play a little over action there in the Mets and Yankees game. So hop below in the comments. Let us know how you're looking to bet it. Shout out to you, Richard. Go ahead.
I would tell you, it's not out of the realm of possibility. I don't hate it. I mean, again, both of the Mets this month, as I just detailed, are hitting the snot out of the baseball, and the Yankees always seem to be able to put up runs. So I wouldn't expect a double-sided pitcher's duel here. Probably one side's going to have the advantage over the other, but given where we are, it shouldn't surprise anybody that both these teams get to 4 runs. So I don't hate an overplay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. I don't know if anything really jumps out. I mean, I know you could call it the marquee game, of course, since it's the Subway Series with how it went yesterday. It should be a good baseball game, but nothing really screamed to me, I want to bet this Yankees game simply because of how last night I think kind of rolled out for me. So I looked elsewhere. Bruce Cotney joining us on the YouTube feed. He was saying, I'm sorry, guys, I'm a little late. Don't worry. We haven't even hit best bets yet. So you're right on time here, Bruce. But you do want to rewind to make sure you see the Patty Johnson shout out. Biggest Mark Zinno fan in the entire world. The chat's still buzzing about that one. Yeah, very big. Yeah, you got to go back. RG Rochi with a really poignant question. He's asking, how many kangaroos could you fight? So I don't know if the day drinking made its way over here to the YouTube Shorts feed. I think I could probably take on one. I think if there's a gang of kangaroos, I think I'm probably in trouble. But over under 10.5 kangaroos. The BP, the only one that could potentially fight 10.5 kangaroos from our man RG Rochi is Mark Zinno. I mean, he's a combat.
He's doing all the work, Dan.
You and I getting our asses kicked by one, probably.
Yeah,
BP.
We're hiding behind Zinno. Yes. Although I injured Zinno once in the back of an Uber.
Yes,
I don't want to know that story. I don't want to know that story. I don't know in the bag. I'm guessing there was Patty back there jockeying for position. How you got injured in the back seat, I don't want to know. That'll be a story for the morning wager, I suppose. But Bruce was chiming in about an actual sports question and not one on the pitch. He was saying, hey, I joined late, but did you guys hit the A's and the Angels game? No, we didn't want to hit that game, but we will for you, of course. Contreras against Estes.
Yeah. This was our show best bet on the morning wager here, man. This was our show best bet on the morning wager.
Why do you like it? All right, well, why do we like it? What did you bet?
We took the Angels team total over, basically going against Joey Estes here, the starter for the Oakland Athletics. Major split differential here. 2.79 ERA at home. ERA on the road, 8.02. Opposing hitters batting .311 against him. He's given up 6 bombs on the road compared to just 1 at home this year. So a guy who hasn't made a ton of starts, 2-2 on the year, 8 starts overall. But we looked at his last 4 road starts, given up at least 3 runs in all of those starts. They've lost all 4 of them. So this was a spot here. We trust the Angels lineup, who've scored a bunch of runs in the first 2 games, to keep the carousel going here, going over 4.5 against Joey Estes of the Oakland Athletics.
You sickos on the morning wager would have that game as your best bet, but honestly, it makes a hell of a lot of sense to me. I might be tailing that one. It's a strong breakdown. BP, I know you do your best bet there, your sloppy parlay, so to speak, the Patty Johnson nuke. But anything else to add, or did Zinno here hit the main talking points for you in the A's and Angels game? We got Nick; he's on the Angels money line. We got Tyler asking some questions as well that we'll hit to. Phil the Kill, I'm buying this low A's stock. It can't get any lower, probably for a reason. Any other thoughts for you?
Yeah, I'll just, because I saw the comments about, maybe buying low on the A's. I tried last night, guys. It was my first loss in MLB in over a week. I tried A's first 5. They couldn't get to Tyler. I don't know what voodoo Tyler Anderson is conjuring up on every start. But this guy's just ridiculous. And if the A's, that was their chance last night. The A's had a 2-0 lead early. I thought I had the first 5 winner in the bank, and then the bottom of the 4th happened, and it was all over but the shouting. I think that was the A's chance, Dan. So from a side perspective, I saw the comments here on YouTube saying, maybe this is the time to get on Oakland. I don't know. I thought last night was the time to get on Oakland, and it wasn't the time to get on Oakland. They lost again. That's a bad baseball team. They started better than we all expected, but they stick.
Yeah. I'll add one more thing here. It should always be curious, and I understand the Angels are a bad team and they're a bad team at home, but should always raise an eyebrow when Oakland is playing anybody and the other team they're playing is only like a -130 favorite, because typically this is not how they're priced. So it scares the hell out of me to back the Angels on the money line. I would tend to look more towards the over, in the fact that Roansy Contreras, who also isn't very good, is a guy that I don't necessarily want to back all that much, even though, again, it looks like they're going with a bullpen game. The Angels are, and the last time I checked on the Angels bullpen, it stinks. So, if you have a 9 out there to take the over, that's probably the way I would go if you're not going to, do what we did with the Angels, going over their team total. I think that's what scared me about the Angels' money line. I think Oakland's going to score some runs here, and I just hope it pushes the Angels to score more.
That's Mark Zinno, WT.buzz/MZ. Find him on Twitter at Mark Zinno. Guys, let's talk some best bets here, and then we'll circle back if anyone has some other things they want us to hit on before we shut things down here for the afternoon. But Twins and D-backs. This was a game that I held on to because we did have some folks who were asking any thoughts on the total in this game, potential ways that you could swing back and bet this one, but it was tabbed here for our man Brian Powers' best bet. Richardson going to be going for the Twins. It's Nelson on the other side. I know a lot of people loved SWR. They're excited about what he brings to the table. I'm wondering if you're excited about that, BP, and what folks should be excited about to find over at your page at WT.buzz/BP. How we betting this one, though, brother?
Yeah, I'm just going to focus on the Twins lineup here, the Twins offense. I'm not necessarily convinced that they should be slight favorites for this game, but and they obviously lose 5-4 last night here in Arizona. I think they're going to score more runs tonight. They're facing Nelson, who has generally been really bad for the Snakes. We're talking about a guy with a 5.74 ERA, a 1.627 whip at home. For the season, Nelson has a 4.58 xFIP. That's not good. He allows a ball in play. And Minnesota, over the last 30 days, top 5 overall against righties, both in WRC plus and weighted on base average. Beyond Nelson, you also have to consider the D-backs bullpen has not been good the last 30 days. Bottom 5. Yesterday, they gave up a 3-run inning late that allowed the Twins to tie the game. I like this Twins lineup a lot more with Lewis back. Don't like Nelson for Arizona. Don't like the Diamondbacks bullpen. I think the road team, which, as you know, by rule, is guaranteed at least 9 innings worth of at-bats, they could score 5 tonight. So Twins team total over half is my best bet for the show today. We talked Euros just a few minutes ago, a little bonus search here on First Pitch. I do have a play coming up on Czech Republic, Turkey in less than 30 minutes. So if you're listening live, you still have time to get that. We've been on fire in soccer, 23-8-1 run on the pitch. We're also 6-1 our last 7 in Major League, 13-4 all sports run overall. I do have a 4% best bet in MLB that will be available on my page. That too is kind of an early start, though, an early evening start. So head on over right now, WT.buzz/BP, as we look to keep it rolling.
ISOing in on the team total and the hits going over. Zinno, you have anything to add on that one, brother?
Yeah, I just want to tell BP that I glad you took the Twins team total over, not the Twins as a whole, because I got a problem backing anybody with 3 names. You should only have an even number of names. It's like
it's unfair.
Look, John Wilkes Booth, Lee Harvey Oswald, John Wayne Gacy, Patty Nukes. All these people with 3 names, they're all just bad. So I want to stay away from a guy with 3 names like that. That bothers me.
Yep. Patty Mark Lover Johnson. I agree. It's a major.
Patty Johnson. That's what it is.
It's definitely something to watch there. Yeah, whenever your name can't fit on the graphic, like, we don't want any part of you. I'm sorry. I know our man Tyler. He goes. He doesn't like the 3 names either. He goes, that's why I just call him the GOAT. There has been no one who loves Simeon Woods Richardson more than our guy Tyler in the chat there. Michelle chiming in, the Twins money line for me. She doesn't care about the 3 names. She's not bucking the trend. That's the way that she is looking to bet that one. So we appreciate you chiming in on that one. Robert S., while you were breaking it down, he too is liking the Twins team total over. So runs for the Twins, looking like that is what's going to be in vogue, at least according to our man Brian Power. You can find him on a leaderboard near you. So there you go, gentlemen. Zinno, you have a best bet for us here in the Chicago White Sox and the Dodgers game. Adam Trigger's favorite pitcher, Fetty, going to be on the mound in this one. We singing some 1738 Fetty Wap here. What are we thinking, Zinno?
Fetty Wap is the angle here. I took the first 5 under 4.5 here. It's been a low-scoring series to begin with. Let's start with the easy part. Gavin Stone's going for the Dodgers. He's got a 3.04 ERA. Whip's a little uncomfortable at 1.2, but he's facing a White Sox team that we know can't hit and can't score runs. So I think that takes care of that. But Eric Fetty, a.k.a. Fetty Wap, has been really good all year long, but his home road splits are insane. For a 4.47 ERA on the road, his ERA at home this year is 0.95. Opposing hitters batting just a $194 against him. 36 strikeouts in 38 innings. I mean, he has been absolutely stellar. Crazy thing here is he hasn't had a home start since May 14th. It has been a while since he's been on the mound on the south side of Chicago here. I'm trusting Fetty Wap to be able to keep the Dodgers at bay. The rub of this game, and here's what's hard, two things. One, Stone gets a ton of run support and has this year. Two, the Dodgers, they hit the ball on the road. They do. But Eric Fetty is pitching for a job right now for some other team in Major League Baseball at the trade deadline. So he's going to give his best stuff no matter what. I think he keeps the Dodgers at bay here for 5 innings. And if he does, if he only allows 1 or 2, I trust that the White Sox are not going to be able to put up runs against Gavin Stone here. So went first 5 under between the Dodgers and White Sox. Guys, 5-1 in my last 2 days. 3 more plays up tonight at the site after a 3-1 night last night in Major League Baseball. Go to wt.buzz/MZ and get Patty Nukes Johnson with my plays.
I also like Tyler chiming in saying, Patty, won't you come my way? See, there you go. You get a little bit of Fetty, a little bit of Fetty Wap. Patty, won't you come my way? It brings it all full circle. Well done, Tyler. Happy to have you back in the chat, brother. You're throwing fastballs today. We got the Chicago White Sox getting the half a run. Richard Lockhart, he was even saying, I got Chicago White Sox first 5 plus a half a run. Is that a good look? The stream may be a little bit delayed because our man Mark Zinno says, yeah, I like that look. I got it in my pocket as well. So
involved, man. You don't want the White Sox bullpen involved. I agree. In any. So, if it's Fetty Wap.
Yeah, one eye or not, Fetty Wap, the way to go in that one. Mark Zinno's best bet looking towards the Chicago White Sox. We appreciate you guys and gals in the chat. Hit that like button on the way out if you haven't already. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit that little bell, and you'll never miss when we go live here. Also, you can follow us, Twitter, on X, on Instagram, wherever you're catching us. We love that you are there. And for you folks scrolling TikTok nonstop like the Prez, why don't you stop on over and check out WagerTalk on TikTok. We're posting some videos over there, and we're live right this second. So shout out to you TikTokers over there. You never know which platform you're going to be able to catch us here, but you always know you're going to be getting that actionable info you know and love around the clock here whenever you see WagerTalk logo next to it. So we will see you locked and loaded tomorrow here for WagerTalk, first pitch here. Dan Alexander shutting things down. Big thanks to Guy. Reminders, Chicago White Sox getting the half run in the first 5. The Twins team total over 4.5 against the D-backs. Those are the best bets for the gentlemen. Hop below in the comments and let us know what your best bets are. And we will see you tomorrow. Until then, you don't have to go far to keep getting that info you know and need. If you're watching on the rewatch, click the video on your screen right now. Check out the links in the description below. Keep getting that info to cash on all the sports you love. We're going to keep on doing it on an hourly basis right here at WagerTalk TV. Best of luck, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Oh my God, I just wanted to send a shout out to my favorite handicapper at WagerTalk, Mark Zinno. I've got your big ticket waiting for later, so call me. Let's make a sloppy parlay together.